My name is Gay. I'm a licensed massage therapist and esthetician, and this is part 2 of my experience at the International Aesthetics, Cosmetics, and Spa Conference that took place in West Palm Beach on September 28th and 29th, 2025. So, as I mentioned in the first part, my first day at the conference was incredibly overwhelming, intimidating, like complete sensory overload. All right. By the end of the first day, I had resigned myself to just collecting as much material as I could, like as many pamphlets, packets, folders, catalogs, price lists, etc., and just taking it all back to my hotel room to review so that I could formulate a better game plan for the second day of the conference, because it's only a 2-day conference. Okay, so it's jam-packed. So I gathered up as much stuff as I could on my way out, worked the floor, took it back to my hotel room, splayed it all out over the desk. It was no less than probably 3 dozen pieces of material, not including all of the free samples that were thrown at me. So when I say materials, I mean stuff like this. Like catalogs, like this is Skin Act, this is a huge company that services the, spa and salon industries. They sell, like this is a facial chair or a lashing chair. They sell massage tables, stools, steamers, devices. They have their own skincare, custom formulated skincare line. So catalogs, dense catalogs. This was the Skin Act, one of their catalogs, and I'm going to tell you, this in the whole conference, this was probably my favorite piece of material, and I'm going to tell you why. This was my favorite piece of material because not only did it have all of their products for sale and detailed pricing for various sizes, from retail for your customers to back bar sizes. What I loved was that it also included specific detailed protocols. So for estheticians, you could, in this little catalog, you can really read through all of the specific skin script facials, and you can really decide, whether or not you would want to do any kind of skin script regimens in your office. So this is a tiny little booklet, but this one is power packed. Now, I did not bring back any skin script products. I brought back a few samples. Like, I was interested in their pumpkin enzyme, but they were completely sold out of it. 'Tis the season, it's the fall season, so of course they were completely sold out of it. But someone chased me down and gave me a handful of these minis to try out, so at least we can try it out in the office. So I did not bring back any skin script, but I am interested in their peels. They have a 3-pack of peels, TCA peel, glycolic acid, and a lactic acid, which is very competitively priced, and their TCA peel is apparently pretty popular, pretty well known. So I may be introducing a little bit of skin script within the next 6 months, but I settled on another product line this time, and we'll get into that one later. So catalogs, folders, detailed folders. This one was from Glymed. It included, all of their available classes for the conference, a few protocol sheets, their catalog, as well as their pricing for their back bar sizes and their retail sizes as well. So that's what I mean by material. So I had at least, I had 30 to 40 pieces of material to read through, to organize. I just created little stacks of interest, must see, must check out, must buy kind of thing. So I read through everything thoroughly, formulated a game plan, went out, had a really nice dinner, came back, had a full night's rest, got up, hopped up out the bed, turned my swag on, did a full face beat, made myself look good. When you look good, you feel good. I've definitely felt more grounded and more centered the second day. So when I arrived, I was rearing to go. So as soon as you walk into the exhibition hall, Eminence Organics was dead center, the star of the show. directly to the right was hydrofacial. I wanted to take in a hydrofacial demonstration. I wanted to take in an Eminence Organics demonstration. I went to an Eminence school. I'm not an Eminence retailer or educator. The cost to entry, or the cost, their minimum first order is prohibitively high for a new solo esthetician. So although I do use Eminence products in office, you know, I'm not a retailer or anything like that, but I did want to grab a couple of new masks specifically for my back facial. So I did that. I took in a demonstration there, got some masks, and then I proceeded to work the perimeter. I was going to work the perimeter and work my way in, okay? And so as I was making my way to Estee Max to look at Hydro Jelly masks, you know, their full line, I was walking past one table and I made eye contact. It's kind of like going to the mall, you know, where somebody's like running after you with a flat iron or something, and you're pretending like you're like, like you're on the phone, you're listening to your AirPods or whatever. You know, I made eye contact with somebody, and they were just like, I'm here. And so I went over there. It was wax. Now, I'm going to tell you, I didn't have any plans to purchase wax, okay? Wax is generally wax unless it's satin hard wax, okay? Which we hate, right? But I didn't have plans to purchase any wax or research any wax, but I found myself at this table. Woo Aesthetics Emerald Gold, okay? Woo Aesthetics is a spa in Stuart, Florida, okay? It's owned and operated by Monique Waters, who is a master esthetician and educator, international educator. This is her personal formulation, Emerald Gold. And, you know, we don't have smell-o-vision, but it smells absolutely divine. Monique herself asked me for a patch of hair, and esthetician life is looking for hair somewhere on the body. You know, we're always like waxing ourselves, waxing each other. I sit in the office practicing dermaplaning. So I told her, I was like, I don't think I have any hair. We found a little bit on my bicep. She laid down the Emerald Gold. Okay. She laid down a thin film. She did not prepare the skin. There was no cleanser required. There was no powder required. She just laid down a thin film of Emerald Gold. Okay, one swift pull, she pulled hair. Okay, and I was instantly impressed. She was selling it in increments of in this size, in the 2.2 pound bag and the 10-pound bag. And so this size bag is not enough for a ton of treatments, but it's enough to know whether or not you want to work with it, right? So I decided to just get this as a sampler. It's very competitively priced. I think I paid maybe $35 for this bag. And I ended up standing around and watching a demonstration of the Emerald Gold application and hair removal on a gentleman's back, a hairy bear of a man, very hairy back. And I watched Monique wax this man's back. And at the end of it, her colleague said, no, you guys make sure that you are at the Manzilian training at 1 p.m., which was about 45 minutes later. So I did not make it to any of my other classes, but thank goodness I made it to that Manzilian training because it was a revelation, okay? So 1 p.m., I continued around the floor. 1 p.m., went to the Manzilian training. It was standing room only, okay? And the lecture, I got a seat. I got there just before 1. I got one of the last seats in the back row. And, you know, over the next 10 to 15 minutes, the room kept filling in. I had no idea who Monique was prior to this, or how special she is, or how renowned she is. But people were filing in for this demonstration. So we went through, she provided a lecture, and then at probably the 20-minute mark, a gentleman came in, he dropped trow, he hopped up on the table, and she proceeded to give him a full male Brazilian wax, okay? It was wild. I don't know what I expected, but it was absolutely wild. Now, as a wellness professional, as a massage therapist, a body is just a body, but let's be real here, okay? When you're getting a Brazilian wax, it's a very vulnerable experience, right? You're just like butterflied and talking about the weather to someone who is, you know, waxing your bits. shout out to this man for being such a trooper, because, but I mean, like, it was so intense. She, as an educator, was so incredible. Not only did she proceed to give this man a flawless wax, I mean, he was smooth like a dolphin. She handled him with respect and professionalism while addressing the entire room, the entire crowd, talking to people on a first name basis. Reading people's name tags, figuring out where people were from. It was so dynamic. It was so exciting. It was like just really exciting. And, by the end of, it was wild. Women were standing on chairs to like view. Everybody had a full on view of what was going on. So it ended up with him on all fours, getting his butt waxed. It was crazy, right? So amazing presentation, just an absolutely amazing demonstration. And let me tell you something, I've been looking for a Brazilian wax educator, because this is something that we weren't taught in school. We didn't have to do intimate waxing, but it's so high demand, especially, here in Florida, here in Southwest Florida, with people on vacation. They want to look good, feel good in their bathing suits. Like, I knew that intimate waxing was something that I had to bring to Elysian Palms. And so I've been looking for an educator, and these classes are expensive, right? This is a private instruction. Like, generally you're going to pay about $1,000 in order to get instructed in this, unless you go work for like a European wax center or something like that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to give to other businesses when I could just be investing in myself in my own business, right? So I had been looking for someone, and right there in that moment, in that presentation, I knew that she was going to be an educator and a mentor for me. 2 days later, after the conference, I reached out to her by email. She immediately responded. I was like, so impressive, right? Got back to me in like 3 minutes. Told me to call her directly on the phone. I was like, oh, I like this chick. Got on the phone, booked it. So this week, October 16th, I will be in Stuart, Florida, learning Brazilian waxing one-on-one with Miss Monique. She's also teaching me spray tanning. So I will be bringing spray tanning to Elysian Palms. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do it in office or if I'm just going to do that on a mobile basis. Massage party and spray tanning. You guys know I love groups. I love groups of ladies. I've worked with multiple gentlemen. So maybe I visit, maybe we do a spa party, maybe we do massage, and maybe we do some spray tanning. So I will be learning those two things one-on-one with this incredible instructor this upcoming week. So that was my experience that was the one class that I made it to at IECSC. But let me tell you something. That was the only class I needed. That was what I needed. So part 3, I'm going to tell you exactly what I brought back for the office. Okay? Next part.